And I also take care of, little entity things of in the artist area too. So I take care of some work that I need to handle for people, artists who's passed away and artists, up and rising artists and things like this. So I have to run a company, I guess, that way to properly handle it. Yeah.
What sorts of artists have you handled? Name some artists that we would know that you've handled.
Not that I handled them, but there's some up and rising artists. Im Chae-uk, and he's very, a modern artist with a lot of photo art, is what we say. But of course, the people that are probably most familiar with is the former and deceased Baek Nam-jun, or we say in the stateside, Nam-jun Baek. Yeah, there's a lot that's happening here in Korea with, of course, Nam-jun Baek or Baek Nam-jun, but he's it's been 5 years since he's passed away. So we just have to, worry about what's going on and people, taking care of the rights and things like this and his image and exhibitions and things that they're using his names. We just have to be cautious of, how they're using it. And so we, we're always kind of up forefront to see what's going on so that they don't use his image or his name in the wrong way.
So what happens? Did he signed his rights in his will to somebody or went to his children or something like that?
Yeah, actually, Nam-jun never had any children, and he was married to a Japanese woman, but he had a nephew who almost acted, as if it was his son. So his nephew had pretty much all the rights of what's happening. And so, worldwide, of course, we're just in Korea, but worldwide, he's known as an international artist, not really a Korean artist. And so for us to really take pride in our legendary artist that, is of Korean blood, I think what we need to learn to do is really, really be cautious in how to use and how to okay getting rights for things. So, for example, if they wanted to put him in an educational book or put him on a postage stamp, then these are things that you need to approve with the people who have the rights. And just like when we use music, you've got to be able to do that, and that's the only way to really to create a higher legend, to keep him a higher legend, because you get somebody like that probably once in a billion years, and I don't think in Korea, and I don't even foresee in Korea yet, maybe, to see of someone that scale, international, that big. But and I try to do, with his work, I try to keep on the side, behind the scenes on this, because I don't want to mix my name or anything involved in that, because that'll just, that doesn't work. I think, I should always prosper his name for whenever I do works and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot. But so then you also focus on, you said your character and things like that. What are you doing with that? Is that like when you're hired to go do shows and things like that, you do it through your company? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that is true. And I'm sure you're familiar with this, Stephen, too. We've all kind of...
Vaguely, not really.
We've been in this entertainment, in the world of what we say, edutainment. I actually coined that phrase. I know many teachers use that, but edutainment is something that I, came up with about 11 years ago. And of course, a lot of people in this field use that word a lot. But in this world of edutainment in Korea, it's very particular.
Did you get the rights to it?
No, you know what? I
don't think anybody's going to believe you made that. They're gonna, come on.
But
who got the rights
a
to
lot
that?
of times
That's
people coin a phrase and it starts getting popular everywhere. But who really coined the phrase? But I'm not going to put my name to it. But I do recall using that once in an interview about 11 years ago. And then from then on, some of the teachers we worked with all kept using it in the industry. But I believe, for the PR promotion or production that we have, people will go through my company to hire me as an MC, Korean or English or both, which right now we need a lot of bilingual, MCing for international events. Also character as in, books. Of course, we want to be able to write more books, but we never have the time to write enough books. But, the character myself. So eventually, as female TV people, age or get wiser, their image, we don't want to go through all the changes of cosmetic surgery and things like this, but I rather, instead of me, a character, blossom a character that will be able to be always at 12 or 13 years of age, forever her life, something like this. So, working on this character a little bit, in terms of education.
Okay, so you're busy, your company's very busy with both those aspects then, I understand. Is there, what keeps you busier? I assume there must be, is there a lot of copyright infringement toward Baek Nam-jun and the other artists that you have? How do you deal with something like that?
It's an ongoing thing, and it's so hard to difficult, it's difficult to deal with, and when an artist or somebody big passes away, the first 10 years is very precious, and how do you handle it? And this is the problem when you see like other big artists who's passed away, they've had not one person, but 10 different people, individuals, to holding the rights. And so, you know, this is very difficult, and where do you get this, you know, approval from and things like this? But again, in Korea, I believe we have to respect that. It's not something that you have to go through an obstacle. Oh, no, I have to call this person or get the rights, or how much is it going to cost to use the rights? But this is something out of our own respect that we should for, you know, any kind of artist, musician, you know, when they pass away. But there's so many things to do every day.
Or when they're alive, I assume. You want to be getting rights whether they're alive or they've passed away, right?
Right.
But can you give any specific instances of something you had to deal with, or what do? Do you go to the lawyers with that?
Yeah, we do have lawyers.
You have a law firm that deals with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I give, you know, most of the things with headache over there.
Yeah.
But we've done with a lot of
Usually probably
things.
just a letter deals with it. Enough,
Exactly.
huh? Yeah.
Usually, and they're, you know, usually respectable.
Yeah.
But it's just before jumping on the gun to have an exhibition using his name or things like this, you should, you know, get the rights, or you should, you know, call and, you know, preferably say, we'd like to use his name or his face or, you know, something, or his artworks. It doesn't mean that if you own his artworks that you can just use it freely too. You've got to, if you're using his name, you've got to approve that. Not just the artworks itself. But if it's an artwork that you own, yes, you can go ahead and show it in the magazine. But if you're using his name, you've got to get an okay with that too. Yeah.
Wow, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
It gets those what is that, copyright infringement laws and all of the intellectual property is the word that they use, right?
Right.
Intellectual property laws get very confusing and very difficult to deal with.
It's just anything else. I mean, it's not just this. I think if this isn't yours, if it's not your name, or if it's not your thing, you just need to give them a call or write them an email and just say, hey, you know, we'd like to use this, we'd like to use a name, or we'd like to use this, you know. Just asking permission. It's always better to ask than later, you know, deal with it when it's, you know, become really big, you know, of an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that you also, does your company do something with design? I heard the other design in there.
Yeah, that's a letter D.
Yeah, another D.
Another D.
Is that your